thing. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crush This Monster Truck Podcast. My name is Bradshaw, also known as the only Monster Truck Canucker, and apologies about my voice again for the third week in a row. I'm still under the weather. This stupid cold that I've had just won't go away. I'm hoping I'm finally on the other side of this. So if you hear that, I'll try to keep myself muted for most of the show. But I got to open this one off. We're headed to the Stanley Cup Finals. Oh, my goodness. I had to start that one off. I know we talked a little bit about hockey last week, and, you know, we took down the Dallas Stars, and, man, we're going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Edmonton Oilers against the Florida Panthers, and it's going to be a good battle. Me and Cheech have been talking. We were talking some hockey a little bit. And, yeah. But on tonight's show, we have Mr. Jamie Garner, the Wizard, owner of Overboard Motorsports. Zack was originally supposed to be on, but due to some other stuff, Zack wasn't able to make it. We'll definitely have him on soon. But man, what a World Finals weekend for those guys. From the whole Shake Me deal with Tom Mentz to their trucks competing in the World Finals. We just had Cole Vernard on last week. Is one of the team trucks there, competed in the main show. But man, it's going to be an awesome episode. We got a couple people to thank here, guys. Go check out Monster Truck Attitude on Facebook and YouTube. Thursday Night Thunder. Steve Jones and what he does for the diecast community is awesome. I'm finally in a race, and hopefully it's going to be me and Cheech round one. We're trying to swing that, so that'll be fun. Also, go check out our merch store. Crush This and Monster Truck PO at myspreadshop.com. Check out Bryce Kenny's book, Geared for Life. Me and Cheech have both read it. It's an amazing book. A lot of good things to base your life around. And one of our newest supporters of the podcast, well, been supporting us for a long time, but they've stepped up with J Concepts. Use the code Crush This at jconcepts.net for 15% off all items. J Concepts is the leader in RC monster truck stuff. They sponsored Cheech, our buddy Josh Rhodes, so many others. You saw a lot of their bodies and a lot of their products display if you checked out the RC World Finals like I did when I was there. Go check all that out. They do awesome stuff. And check out Cole Vernard's thing here, limslikeme.org. If you want more information on that, check out last week's episode with Cole about all of that, what he's doing, all the cool stuff he's doing, guys. So, yeah, let's get into it here. Okay, Seth. Okay, go Panthers. We are. Let's go Oilers only here. And Cheech has even said in the when we were talking before, Oilers in 6. So I'm saying it right now, Oilers in 6. Play La Bamba, baby. All right, guys, let's get into this episode with Mr. Jamie Garner, and might see a special guest pop in and talk about, the journey that they took on that Saturday night. So let's do it, guys.
This isn't your typical motorsports podcast. You're listening to Crush This, a monster truck podcast presented by High Octane Coffee and J Concepts. A show where we take you inside the minds of your favorite drivers, past and present, of the monster truck industry. And now, your hosts, Bradshaw and Ken Chichagash. Buckle in. The show starts now.
Woo!
Hey.
What's going on, guys? How's it going? Yeah, it's old teachers here. Jamie Garner down there. Brad's all happy, all hockey up. Like I said, I see the Oilers winning by 6. I don't know. I like the hockey. What's going on? And I wouldn't mind seeing a Canadian team win. One time, but man, Jamie, what's going on? You have a lot, a lot of stuff going on the last few weeks. Um, Man, you start. We'll go back because we had you on maybe what through 2 years ago, 2.5 years
Yep.
ago. You were one of the first ones that we actually interviewed doing a live segment. Because I remember I think we even had Zack on maybe a year after that.
Yep.
And you popped in and stuff like that. So, you always had a full team running around this year. People may know that you rocked the El Toro Loco truck last few years. You brought back your old girl overboard with Chad Tingler driving it, being the second truck with Zack's satellite team there. And with this season at the stadium tour, you guys were introduced to the EFI system. We had all the independents had to kind of touch base with it. I know you guys, I know you and your team were really touching a lot in that last year in Nashville with Cole's truck, to a point where the time was the issue, not the truck. Finding the bugs and stuff like that, time was against you, where you had to put Cole in your truck, and you made it into the semifinals. Made it through that sloppy muck that Nashville had. So you come around, you got some time going on here, and with the EFI, with Fell, they had kind of 3-year bubble compared to we did. And when I say we, all the independent teams and stuff like that. So, with the EFI this season, how did you guys get the ball rolling throughout the season with this EFI?
Last year we started, like you said, at World Finals with Cole's truck. We felt really good with Fuel Tech. Fuel Tech come on board with us, John Gordon, Kohler's team, and we all felt really comfortable. We threw the dice and was going to go to World Finals and just prove a point. It was either going to kill it or it wasn't. So we showed up, motor guy come with us, whole 9 yards. We got there, man, the truck ran unbelievable. But as soon as we put Feld's RI radio to the truck, it wouldn't run. It would just die constantly. We messed with it, couldn't figure it out. So finally, me and Cole kind of went inside the stadium with the truck. We ran it with the radio unplugged, and then we plugged the radio back in, and it just kept dying. So me and him kind of went to the corner, started talking, and I'm like, dude, you're driving my truck. You got no choice. You're going to have to do World Finals. That's the only truck we had in it at the time. So we pulled his seat, his body, put on my chassis, and we shipped him out. And, he finished second or third in racing, I think, or third, and second freestyle in a truck he's never drove. The only downfall to all that, though, is I let him drive my truck, and he realizes that the boss, owner, and all that has a bigger and better motor than him. My truck lands better than his. So I've listened to that for a whole year of why's your truck land better than mine and why's your truck faster than mine. So it's been pretty comical letting him drive it once, but I don't really want to let him drive it no more.
I just checked. You were our very second live guest we ever had.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Back 4 years ago. I had to double check that because I knew it was like, I know we've had Jamie on, just
I thought it was sooner than that.
No, it's
been a long time ago.
Years ago.
Oh my!
A lot of things have changed since then.
Oh, definitely. And you mentioned Fuel Tech, and I talked with Cole about this last week. Fuel Tech has been such a big name in drag racing specifically. They've done a lot of stuff with the no prep stuff, Pro Mod. The stuff that they do down in Brazil with the rotaries. And then there's so many other, people doing EFI for racing applications. Why Fuel Tech? Was it because of, their reputation, or was it because, it was what everybody else was using? It was easy for you to join with with Gordon and with the
Well,
with,
and
like, yeah.
me and Gordon got together because we were on tour together, and me and John have been good friends. So me and John got together, and we both decided we didn't want to run Holly. We just didn't want anything to do with Holly. We wanted something completely different than Monster Jam Feld. We wanted something different. We didn't want to hear, you used this part of ours, you did this, you did that. So we wanted to go somewhere completely different. So me and John Gordon kept talking about it, and Fuel Tech, luckily, is like 45 minutes from John Gordon's shop in Georgia. That's where they're based out of. So that worked out pretty good for us. John Gordon got to be really good buddies with those guys at Fuel Tech. And, Fuel Tech's support line is insane. When we first put it in Cole's truck, they stayed on the line with us pretty much the whole time we were in Nashville trying to help us work the bugs out. Come to find out the bugs in Cole's truck were us, not Fuel Tech. The truck had electrical short we didn't know about. You can't have electrical short with EFI. It's got to be perfect. So we get through World Finals, do everything there, take the truck to John Gordon. He totally rewires it. Fuel Tech comes in, helps him set everything up. And, just the back from Fuel Tech, the help they give all of us is unbelievable. We struggled a lot this year, and a lot of the struggles we had was us more than it was Fuel Tech. We did Atlanta Motor Speedway this year. Fuel Tech showed up early just to help us tune. They tuned on Jester's truck, they tuned on my truck, they tuned on Cole's truck, they were tuning on John Gordon's truck. They helped all four of us out at Atlanta. You can't ask for better people. I mean, they found some knickknacks wrong with my truck trying to help us out. And then we roll Saturday night, man, truck runs unbelievable, just spectacular. And then we go into Sunday show. I make it to semifinals racing Leduc and pop another motor, which I think that at that point in time, that would have been motor number 7 of the year. So Fuel Tech for us, between Gordon's, Kohler's team, Jester's team, seems like the way to go. We've struggled. Some of it's been tuning on our own part. Some of it's been some truck issues. Some of it's been electrical issues. But all in all, Fuel Tech's been a killer company to work with.
So, man, I still can't believe it's been almost 4 years there. So, I mean, by that time, you're rocking the overboard truck. Sometimes the Zimmers did their own. They're now doing their own thing. Now you bring back Chad Tingler to represent your bread and butter. Even though it's under the same umbrella, I can't talk today. I'm done. Even though you have, your truck, a lot of people still picture you behind the wheel of Overboard. What took the process of bringing Overboard back instead of maybe giving Chad a new identity or something like that to go around, but instead you bring back your old girl?
We talked to Cole. We were hunting for a driver. Me and John Zimmer Sr., we were talking after World Finals, and we both kind of decided it was time to go different directions. And, it worked out good for me because I ended up falling in with Tingler. Zimmer kind of went his way with Little Zim, and we went our own way. And, honestly, it worked good for us, and it looks like it's worked really good for him. Zach and Little John still stay in contact pretty much. We did really good after the separation, so it's been good for both teams, I believe. Cole and Tingler's always been good buddies, always. And I knew Chad. I did some summer shows for Monster Jam last year that had Chad at them. And we did come up with a brand new identity for Chad, but needless to say, my tow trucks overrode my monster trucks, and I couldn't get the new body done for him. So we had a new identity we were going to do. I mean, it was really cool concept, whole 9 yards, but we had to push it off another year. So me and Cole and Zack and Deidre and everybody's talking about it. Go, what are we going to do? I get to drive El Toro now. So I was like, well, let's just put him back in Overboard. There's been a few people drive Overboard. I had Zack rock it out in Indy when I got hurt a few years ago. Cole drove it one night in Indy before Zack did it. And Cole blew the motor in my truck. That's what brought Zack in the next day to drive in Indy. So both of them two drove Overboard. I've had John Zimmer Sr. drive Overboard before. we had Mark McDonald drive it. And I was like, there's been quite a few guys drive it, and all of them are very reputable and all of them are very good people. So it's not like we've ever really had anybody in it that you're like, man, I can't believe I let them drive my truck or my name. And then Tingler come along, and I don't think you can ask for a better person than Chad. Chad will drive however you want him to drive. And that was my biggest thing to Chad was, as me and Deidre as being owners, we've never told Cole, we've never told Zack, I never told either Zimmer, Junior or Big Zimmer, how to drive. We never did. You go out and drive how you want. I don't care. If you break it, fix it. That's all I ask. And, Chad went out first weekend. We painted a brand new red body for him, wanted something different. First night, first show, goes out, does sky wheelies, whatever, and rolls over and destroys the body. And Zach's like, you got to be kidding me. Seriously, we got to fix this now? And I'm like, dude, it's just part of it. And Tingler's calling me, go, man, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, what are you sorry about, dude? It's monster trucks. It's what it's about. We got to run them hard. People don't come to us to watch us drive around circles and do nothing, So putting him in it, it was a good choice.
When you were saying, like you don't tell the guys how to drive, that reminds me, I forget which Throwdown DVD it was. Kohler basically said the exact same thing. He was like, I expect these guys to drive hard, but when it comes Monday morning, I want them back in the shop putting that shit back together. And yeah.
That's how it's got to be. And, me and Kohler's kind of where I got started from. I hung around with Hartsock years ago, and Scott was a great guy. We had a lot of good times with Scott. And then we kind of fell into Kohler at a 4-wheel drive jamboree and helped him with the tow truck, doing some knick-knack stuff. Become really good friends with him and Bergeron. And, we always watched them. They never told a driver how to drive. They never told a driver they drove too hard. Jim is one of the perfect monster truck guys because he never tells his guys how to do anything. They go out and rock it out, and he's happy for them. And that's what we wanted to base ourselves off of. I didn't want to be the driver going, hey, you guys can't tear these trucks up tonight. We're just going to tiptoe around. We got a lot of promoters that call us because we run hard. That's the biggest thing. You can't tiptoe around because it's convenient and still expect people to call you and want to drive for you and want you to do shows for them.
So I'm going to take a little bit of a detour route on monster trucks because I really had this and I really want to ask about the story behind this. And I thought it was pretty cool. I think it was a Good Morning America or a news channel had was at Indy and had your record there. Tell the story about how that came up with the testing of how to get out of a car underwater. I seen that and it was random. It was not like I wasn't like typing in searching stuff. I was on YouTube and then it was there under my news feeds and stuff, and it was talking about how to get out of a car underwater, and it had your record there. So how did that all come about?
So we do a lot of fire department training and a lot of Indiana State Police training. If you backtrack about 4 years ago, we brought Good Morning America out, and we were going to do a Good Morning America live. And we put 4 state troopers in with mask on, air, whole 9 yards, and we put them in a car, and we pushed it in a pond in a remote location. And this is all live. So they were going to explain how the car floated, the car will do this, the car will do that. Well, the problem was I got the car from the junkyard and none of us checked it. So we're live on Good Morning America. I pushed the car in the pond. There was a hole in the floorboard about 2 foot by 2 foot. When the car hit the water, it sank immediately. It didn't float. It didn't do nothing. They're trying to tell the people the vehicle's going to do. So the car hit rock bottom. They had to get divers in to rescue the divers in the cars. So they called me up a while back and said, hey, we need 3 cars that run and drive, and we need to check them way before we do Good Morning America again. So we went live with Good Morning America, the one you're talking about, in Indianapolis State Police Post. We gave them 3 vehicles. We drained out all the motor oil we could to keep the motor running, drained the training fluids out, drained everything we could. They fired them up and drove them in the pond. The whole concept is try to train people that if your car does go in the water and it is a running driving vehicle, you do have time to get out of them. I mean, they will float for a good 3, 4, 5 minutes. If you stay calm, get your seatbelt off, roll your window down, crawl out, sit on the roof, you got plenty of time to do it. And with our state police down there, we've done so much of that through the years that, you know, every time they want to do some kind of training like that, they always call and say, hey, what do you guys got? What can we do? So it's good advertisement for us. I mean, not a lot of people can say they are on Good Morning America in the morning. While we were out there, one of my guys was telling the people from Good Morning America that Zack just won Monster Jam World Finals, and they're like, hey, what's it take to get him on TV? You know, can we get him one morning on Good Morning America? So we haven't ever finalized that yet, but they were pretty worked up on the thought of doing it. You know, Indiana kid, first year ever at Monster Jam World Finals and all that. So we'll see if they follow through with that and see what happens.
Well, one cool moment I wanted to bring up is I actually you and me got to meet back in 2022, I think it was, Jamie. Colton,
Yep.
the Kaiser family, brought me out to the Indy Jamboree, and it was the day after I flew in. Colton's like, yeah, Jamie's bringing over his one of his flatbeds. I'm like, Jamie who? He's like, Jamie Garner. I'm like, wait, what? Because I didn't realize how close you guys are, you know, to each other, you know.
Dude, we're about 10 to 12 minutes from each other. Me and Richie have known each other since we were probably in middle school or high school. Awesome people, awesome family. You know, Colton is a good kid. I mean, I've went and picked up equipment for Colton where he could get axles and stuff. I mean, they are just all around good people. So have them in your backyard. When they had the Mini, Richie would come up and we would help them with shocks periodically. And then they ended up doing themselves and it worked. So it's kind of nice to have them in the backyard, because I called Richie right before LA and I said, hey buddy, you know, we've been friends a long time. I need some parts. I don't have them and I need some parts. And he's like, you know, what do you need from us? And I was like, well, I need a blower. I need a hat. And he's like, what do you need a blower for? And I said, Richie, I told you up front, you can't ask questions. I just need some parts. And he's like, man, I don't have anything right now. And I was like, all right, you know, good enough. And, you know, he was willing to give me anything he had. And I mean, the bad thing is, if he would have knew what it was for, he would have never told anybody. But, you know, me and my partner that did our little special thing there in LA decided we wouldn't tell nobody. Nobody was going to run that for us. So me and Mark kind of kept it really quiet. So I kind of felt bad not telling Richie what we were doing, but I was also scared if I did tell Richie what I was doing, he was going to take the blower off Colton's truck and he wouldn't have a blower or hat. So I kind of got a little nervous, because that's the type of people they are. You know, they will break their backs to help anybody. That's the people that Richie and Colton both are. And you know, Richie's wife, they're all just amazing people. It don't matter what you need, they are going to be there to help you and do anything they can with you.
100%.
You know, and let's talk about, you know, the process of, you know, bringing Tom Mentz's Shake Me to life. You know, we kind of transitioned that. You know, you had to keep it hush hush, you and your partner, and, you know, all them together. Hannah, you know, Mark Cole went ahead and did this project for you. You know, was the idea came about ever since, you know, Tom announced his retirement in, you know, the fall of 2023, or was it just a slow, steady snowball and then, you know, this came about? How did it come about?
Dude, it's been brewing for years. Me and him was traveling down the road, leaving Oakland, which would have been about 3 years ago, going to Anaheim. And, you know, we're talking about different stuff. And, you know, we were just getting to be pretty tight. So we're kind of plugging along, driving. And I asked him about Shake Me and where was it. And the guy never would tell me where it was, never would tell me who had it, never would tell me where it went. He always kept it kind of hush. He always said he knew where it was, but he never would tell us. And after his dad passed away, I was on a mission. You know, I wanted to do something special for him. And after his dad passed, I thought, man, that's the ticket. And, you know, I talked to Tom one night. We were a southern state. It was 11, 12 o'clock at night. We just finished up a Monster Jam show and we're sitting at a restaurant eating. It's just me and him only. And I started plugging him on it. I'm like, man, I need to get that Shake Me back. You know, we need to get that Shake Me back. And it probably wasn't 2-3 weeks after his dad passed. And I mean, he's sitting across from me, kind of looking at the table. And he's like, dude, you just don't understand. I don't think I could do anything with Shake Me because me and my dad built it. You know, everything we did with that thing was me and my dad. I just don't think I would have it in me to build it again. You know, I couldn't do it without my dad. And I thought, you know, I get it. So we leave the restaurant. I don't say anything. And I'm leaving the restaurant thinking I'm about a smart ass of, man, you can't do it, but by God, I could. So it became a challenge to figure out where it was. But that guy never would tell me who had it or where it went. So finally, I got the bright idea of, let's get the daughter involved in this. Hannah's going to get this information from him. It took Hannah about 6 months to finally get him to screw up and give us the guy's name. That's all we got was a name. So she Googled me, called me, goes, hey, I know who's got it. I know where it's at. Deal with it. So I call the guy, and the guy's telling me how bad a shape it's in. It's not really worth nothing. And I mean, we're going back and forth. And I'm like, dude, you don't understand. I'm buying this thing and we're going to be there in a day or two to pick it up. I got to have it. And at that point in time, it went from a piece of junk that's not worth nothing to it's worth something. You know, it's Tom Mentz's first mud car. So now it's worth quite a bit, you know?
Yeah.
So me and him work out a deal. Guy was super nice. I mean, everything he told me was there that was. I hook up with Mark Cole. Hannah's in the background helping us. You know, Josh Dyke did some stuff in there trying to help us sneak in and getting some knickknack stuff for us that we needed and helping us out. And I mean, Dyke knew a lot about that mud truck too. So did Cole. So Mark Cole and them built it at his house. And dude, I mean, it was just a whirlwind of, you know, we're going to truck from Indiana to LA just to give him this mud truck. And my guys at my shop are like, hell yes, we are. You know, we're going to drive all day night to get it there. We don't care. This is what we do. This is what we're going to do. There's no better cause. We're going to rock this thing out. So a couple of my guys, Eddie Micah, that builds my chassis, my custom painter at my shop, they jumped in a pickup truck and drove 2.5 days straight to get to LA with it. So it was pretty epic to see it because I never even seen it finished. I painted the body at my shop with Tim. We got the body completely painted back to what it should look like. We took the body to Mark Cole. Mark Cole had the chassis, and he kept going, hey, do you want me to send you pictures of what it looks like? Do you want me to send you pictures? I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. I want to see it when I hit LA. So the first time I seen it was in LA on Thursday morning. Other than that, I never seen that truck until we gave it to Mintz. It was pretty epic. I mean, we did all the paint and everything of the body, but Mark Cole did everything chassis related for me. I was picking parts up every single state that we went to do a Monster Jam all winter long. Mark Cole called me, hey, there's a guy bringing you some tires. You need to pay him. Hey, I got some new front tires bought. You need to pay for that. Hey, the guy in Florida's got this piece. We need to get it picked up. So it was pretty cool. All along first quarter, we're picking parts, pieces up every state we're going to just for the Shake Me truck. So pretty epic, pretty neat.
Like for me, so like this was my very first World Finals. I had never been to one ever in my life. And what one to go to. Like I remember I was sitting down at the tables watching the stage. I see you come up, and then I see a crowd just gathering at the front. So I find a spot. I was standing by our buddy Josh Rhodes. All of a sudden I see it, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like I get to witness, like, you know, my main reason to go over World Finals is to watch Tom drive, and that never, you know,
right,
sadly happened. But getting to see that moment was just nobody. And I knew like you were crying over there, but everybody down below, nobody had a dry eye anywhere in that place.
The emotions to get to World Finals with that thing was so rocky because we did it behind his back, his daughter, his best friend, myself. We built it behind his back in his own backyard. So that was pretty emotional. And, you know, the conversations with him, I was so torn, and so was Mark Cole, you know, and even Hannah, you know, we didn't know how he was going to react. Was it going to be good? Was it going to be bad? We had a feeling it was going to be really, really good, but you don't know because, man, that thing's been gone so long. And did we do something wrong when we built it, you know, and all this stuff. So there was so much stuff in my head. And I even think Mark Cole was the same way. You know, we're trying to figure out the best way to do it. So I took it to Monster Jam. We called them, and everything was open arms, dude. They were super awesome with letting us do this there. Jamie Dawsey and them. I met with them on Thursday and Friday. We all explained how we were going to do it. Man, they were 100% on board. And they're like, hey, you got a small window before you got to pull for high jump and all that. So what we'll do is put him on stage. You come up, make fun of him in a couple minutes. Let's pull it out there. We're going to give it to him. And then, the crowd's not going to be that interested in a mud truck, And I truly kind of agreed with him. I thought, we're going to have Monster Jam main stage normally seats, 50, 100 people if you're lucky.
Yeah, I'd say.
People they're there to see the pit party stuff, And it's an amazing, Monster Jam with their pit parties are awesome. There's nothing better. But the more me and Hannah and making fun of him, I kept looking at the crowd getting bigger and bigger and bigger till finally they're pushing people back. And I'm like, oh my God. And then the truck's finally rolling in and I'm looking at the truck and Tom still ain't even looked. And it's like, hey buddy, you need to look to the left. And as soon as I seen his face, I knew we got him. I knew it was a good thing. But to see an idol, somebody that you've idolized and looked up to and respect so much, there is not a better man in the world than Tom Mintz. That man tells you he's going to walk 10 miles to help you. He's going to walk 10 miles to help you. That is the most stand-up man in the world. I can promise you that. Nobody is as stand-up as he is. To know you hit the emotions to make him cry in front of all his fans, and then to watch out in the crowd and see, Matt from Jester, he's standing over a ball and next to my wife and my kid, people in the crowd that I don't even know coming up to me after Mintz has got it, crying, going, man, that's the best thing I think we've ever seen anywhere. This is unbelievable. Watching Mintz, I never dreamed in my life he was going to crawl in that truck. Never dreamed it. Watching him crawl in it and stand there with his arms up in the air like he just won the lottery I won the World Finals right then and there. You couldn't have gave me a better World Finals. You couldn't. I lost last chance qualifier. And you know what? I was happy when I did. David Alford deserved to win. That kid was on a rail. But I went back to the hotel that night thinking, man, I just lost last chance qualifier. Man, this sucks. I really wanted to do the big show. And then I gave that to Mintz. That was the highlight of my weekend. My weekend couldn't get no better. I was done. I was happy. I could have packed up and went home. I truly could have.
Wait, there's more.
Well,
Yeah.
That was the whole thing, and everybody's like, oh my God, we've never seen that side of you. We've never seen you cry. We've never seen you that emotional. People don't understand, I blew 13 motors first quarter. I watched my best friend in Indianapolis get messed up pretty bad in a monster truck. And I was one of a few people out on the floor with him. I was a very few people in the back with him. And when it come time in the loading dock to get him out of there and leave with him, there was only 3 of us there. And we were one of them. So we all end up going to the hospital with him. And, that's in my head. The motors are in my head. And watching him cry when you give that thing to him, watching you cry. There was so many people that made it emotional of just giving him that truck. And Mark Cole's standing up or crying with me. Hannah's bawling her eyes out. And I'm like, hey, go over with your dad. You need to be over with your dad, comforting him. And she's like, I can't walk. And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, I can't move. I'm froze. I don't know what to do. And just to see the emotions of them, I didn't think my night could get any better. And then, Cole's truck broke down in racing. Me and Cole are in the back trying to figure Cole's truck out. And dude, nothing's going right. Me and Cole are like brothers or, father, son, whatever we both think. Me and Cole have been together a long time, and we've had some good times. We've had some bad times. He's seen me with a broken sternum. I've seen him with some bad shit. It's just me and Cole do awesome together. And that was a rough night for me and him. I got Zack racing, can't get Cole's truck running. We can't figure it out. I got a motor guy there and he's throwing his hands in the air. Cole's getting kind of very frustrated. The biggest show of Monster Jam, and I can't even race. And he did pretty good qualifying and in practice. So it's like, calm down. And then texts are coming up going, hey, Zack just won, first round. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Let me know who he's racing next. And they're like, hey, he's racing so-and-so. And I was like, he should be good with that one, And they come and they said, hey, Zack just really won that one by a lot. And I'm like, all right, well, let me know who he races next. And I think somewhere along the lines, I think he raced Adam. And I'm like, okay, Zack's done for. Zack ain't. I race Adam almost every weekend, and he's done. It'll be all right. I've had a great weekend. So we're still working on Cole's truck. We finally figured it out. And one of the tech guys come up and grab me, and they said, hey, he just beat Adam. And I'm like, who beat Adam? And they're like, Zack just beat Adam. And I'm like, Cole, you're on your own, buddy. Your truck's running now. Have a good night. So I left Cole. And I ran upstairs, and Leslie Mears is standing there. And Leslie's like, I thought she wasn't going to watch this. And I said, I hate watching Zack race. It makes me nervous more than me racing. So I'm like, no, I'm going to stand here for a few minutes. Well, then I don't remember who he raced next. He beat them. And, I'm looking at Elvis, and Elvis is kind of giving me a thumbs up like, man, he just did really good. This is pretty cool. And then it comes down to, I think Zack had to race Too Tall. And I'm like, man, the guy that took me out is probably getting ready to take Zack out. But, good for Too Tall. At least it's an independent. Too Tall deserves it. Zack deserves it. So let's just see who wins. The best man's going to win, whatever. Zack come out to victor on that one. And I'm standing up there, and Leslie Mears is looking at me, and Mintz is off to my left, very close, though. I mean, I am very close to Mintz. And we're all standing up there, and I look at her, and she's got tears in her eyes, and she's like, Zack's in the final round. And I'm like, we're already in the final round. Are you shitting me? Seriously? Holy crap. So final round race comes, and dude, when he come around the first bowl, I looked at Elvis, I looked at all of them, and we knew he had them. I mean, we knew he won. And as soon as Zack crossed the finish line, I look at Mintz. I already made him cry once. And I'm standing there looking at Mintz cry over my son just winning the world finals. Elvis just about ran me over trying to get down to Zack. I'm trying to get composure because I'm a wreck, crying my eyes out. And they got me on camera. Like, come on, get me off camera. I look like a damn idiot here. Trying to breathe. Finally, I just took off running to get downstairs. I realized I'm old and I'm out of shape because Elvis is flying and I can't even remotely keep up with him. We're all running down there. And, when I got a hold of Zack, I couldn't let go. And, truly, he wasn't either. It was like, this is the best. I thought I already had the best world finals ever just with men still. I did. And to watch Zack win it, dude, it was unbelievable. I mean, you couldn't even mention it. I mean, when I got on the track, Elvis had a hold of Zack. I got a hold of Zack. I mean, I'm not going to tell you Elvis was crying, but I'm pretty sure he had tears in his eyes. So it was so emotional. And then, just the concept of Zack's first year ever, and he wins the World Finals racing. It's one thing to say, hey, I won Monster Jam Freestyle. Monster Jam Freestyle is awesome. But Monster Jam Freestyle anymore is about one luck hit. A luck save, a luck hit, and you win freestyle. It's not a badass freestyle run like it used to be. It's just one cool move, wow the fans, and you win. It's almost disappointing some weekends when we do freestyle because you look at some of the guys that are placing first and second, and they don't even get off the ground. They're just tiptoeing around. They go over and backflip, and then they park. And you look at a score, and they got a 9.4 or 9.5, and you're like, "Are you kidding me? You just did that with that?" So to know that he beat them all fair and square, not by an odd judging or anything else, to know that you beat them fair and square in racing, nobody could take it from him. Nobody can say, "Hey, you didn't deserve that," And to look at Tristan England parking on the track, grabbing Zack, I did a lot of shows with Tristan because we were on first quarter together. And so many people kept going up to him going, "Man, you were so lucky you won the World Finals last year. Bakugan broke down and this and that." The best thing about him making the last round and finishing second to Zack, it showed everybody that he deserved to be there and he is a racer. Yeah. So it was emotional even thinking of Tristan because Tristan, I can't tell you the shows we'd go to first quarter and people would be like, "Yeah, man, you were lucky you won that, weren't you?" No, he wasn't. He won that fair and square the year before because if you watch that kid, every time he ran, he made the corners perfect. So to see Zack win and then him in second, it was definitely a very, very emotional weekend for all of us.
And Too Tall placed third too. So that was
that was the
big
coolest
thing.
part. Independence really dominated pretty good there. Throttle Monsters had a killer showing there. Couldn't have been more proud of those guys, all of them. Dalton, Too Tall. I mean, the funny thing is, if you look at every single independent there, everybody had a pretty good run. We struggled with Cole racing, but Cole come out. He was rocking freestyle great. Kohler's team did really good. I felt all of us really just had a good weekend that year. I mean, hopefully it continues for all of us, hopefully.
Well, I wanted to quickly share this. I know I shared it 2 weeks ago, but this was my view of the final round race. And luckily I had good seats because I can see everything. And I remember leading up when they released the track pictures and everything, everybody was like, oh, the red lane's going to be the faster lane all weekend. And no, it was all that blue lane, man.
That's where Too Tall got me. Too Tall threw me in that right lane, and dude, I couldn't do nothing over there. Nothing. It sucked.
Come on, internet, stop being stupid.
I even said during that racing portion to a couple of guys, if Zack was matching right at the 8-pack or the small mini flip ramp, and Tristan was exiting out the jump, Zack got him.
Yes. See, here was the bad thing about that track.
Rewind
the track
that
was
a little bit there, Brad.
Yeah.
The track was fun to race. The track was awesome. But if you were in that red lane on the outside, when you went around that first outside corner, you automatically thought you were losing. Automatically. So you tried so hard to get into that next bowl and get out to make up time. And in reality, you weren't losing. You were about even. Just about all of us were. But when I raced Too Tall, I swore I was losing. So I went in the bowl so damn hard that I just rolled over. And I truly think 90% of all the guys in that red lane felt the exact same way, that when you come out of that long sweeping corner and you see the other guy taking off, you're like, I just lost. Now what am I going to do? It's hard to tell yourself that you're not losing. And, I think when I raced Mark Hall there, I think he was in the same boat as what I was with Too Tall. I come in the bowl and I come out of the bowl on my side. I two-wheeled halfway down the ramp. And I think Mark was the exact same way, because Mark's watching me take off and he's like, I'm losing, I'm losing. And then when I come around the outside, I end up beating Mark on that run. But I think it's just a mind game with that track of you got to keep your head straight and not pay attention to the other guy. You just got to drive your own race and just be done with it.
Hey, one thing, Paul, don't even mess with anything there, Brad. Look at the very, very, very top center of that video.
Right.
There's you are with Mentz, Hannah.
Yes. Yep.
I don't know who else is back there, but there's a bunch of people there. That
Mark Cole was there. Kristen Anderson. I mean, a lot of people. You realize how much your kid means to a lot of people. A lot of people.
Yeah, we saw Zack a lot this year.
Yes, but it was pretty cool because you look around. Leslie Mears is crying when Zack won. Mintz is crying. Mark Cole, I took Mark Cole with me. He didn't have a dry eye, and Mark don't know Zack that great. I mean, he knows Zack, but he ain't been around him a ton. And to see all that, dude, it was pretty cool.
And and I hope my obnoxious screaming in the videos, like to say this is the moment in the night I lost my voice, it's the truth. I had an open spot. Hey Elvis, how's it going, buddy?
Hey.
So I had an open spot beside me. So during the whole racing, I'm pacing around. I'm I can't believe this is happening. The independents are making this World Finals the best I've ever seen. And then I couldn't believe my eyes. What?
Oh, trust me.
What a World Finals to go to my first one ever. I couldn't have chose a better one. And
the whole show, I mean, even talking to a lot of the high ups at Monster Jam, I mean, they even agreed that this was one of the best Monster Jams they've had in a long time. You know, between the DJ, a lot of the stars that were up in the suites, you know, just the whole concept of all of it, it was one of the best Monster Jam World Finals that a lot of us can remember for years.
And we like to welcome Elvis Linez. What's going on, bud? We're gonna pick your brain a little bit here, since you were you started with Zack halfway in the season, and you were helping out with him throughout the years. We saw throughout the year itself. We were with you throughout it, and Zack was winning. A lot of the arena races and stuff like that, and then with Cody and stuff in general. But that weekend, you guys have the gain the body down and stuff like that, and then I believe you guys were doing some nut and bolting and some switching around and stuff like that from Salinas, California. Some motor work and stuff like that. So going to the World Finals itself, you guys are not unbolting, like I said, working on stuff, but lead us up to before the racing, itself, because you guys had your work cut out getting that truck ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think Salinas was kind of where it really helped Zach get a lot of confidence. You know, he went out there and he went to racing with Mark, and we had some coal pack issues there. We got it figured out eventually in the long run, but he won racing, and then went out there for two-wheel and had a really good two-wheel. And I just think that confidence that that he had from that show going into World Finals really helped him a lot. But man, I think my favorite thing about Salinas and that week and a half that we had off between World Finals was the preparation that we had, because me and Zach, man, we've been really good friends for a while now, since about 2021. And I just always remember jokingly saying, man, I would really want to rip one of these trucks, like one of your trucks, just one time, jokingly would always tell him that. And sure enough, a few years down the road, I'm there working for him. And so in Salinas, after we spent that whole week there to kind of work on the truck, and there were some things that we were still kind of waiting on. So I would say between that Monday and Sunday before LA, we probably put in, I don't know, 15 12 hours on the trucks. I mean, Zach and me, we just had a really good relationship. And when we got to World Finals, man, we had to put a new engine in there. And then we also had a new body, and we had a bunch of help in there, but me and Zach were mainly focused on his truck. And I just remember telling him, and I was like, dude, I don't care what you do. I don't care what happens. What I do know is that there's not going to be a single nut or bolt loose on this thing. I mean, I was checking lugs, jam nuts. I mean, you name it. Planetary's going over left and right. I was like, if this truck breaks, it's not because of something that I missed, and he goes out there for the two-wheel competition. He has an okay two-wheel. I think at the end of the day, he wasn't really too concerned about two-wheel. He was mainly looking forward to racing. And so after he had Jim Kohler for racing, I was like, okay, that left lane looks really good. You look really good in it. I was like, just keep doing what you're doing, and you'll be fine. He goes out against Adam, and that's where I was like, okay, this can go either way right here. And thankfully, Adam had like a 5-second penalty or something called on him, so we got really lucky there. But throughout the whole racing competition, I was running up to the grandstands to watch him race, and as soon as he crossed that finish line, I was running right back down to go check on him, fuel him up, and everything. And after the second round is where he started to lose a lot of steering fluid. So we had to continue every single pass he went out there. We were pretty much waiting till he had to pull out on the track, fill it up, and send him out. And we kind of kept doing that throughout every single race. And there in the final race, we actually had the steering pump fitting go really bad on us, to the point where everything we were dumping in was coming right out. So thankfully, Chad caught it. Me, Chad, and Jeff were back there working on that. And he got on the headset and he was like, what are you guys doing back there? I'm like, we're just feeling you up, man. Like, don't worry about it. You know, I didn't want him to get in his head or second guess anything that was wrong with the truck. And I'm grateful that I did, because I think
It's a good move.
I think that as relaxed as Zack is, and I mean this wholeheartedly, I have never seen someone be so easygoing, so unfazed. I've never seen this kid stressed out about anything. And for him to have that composure that he did, you know, all of Selena's, I kept telling him, I was like, so what are you going to say in your winning interview when you win in World Finals? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I think you're going to win. I think you have a good shot. And he was like, why do you think that? I don't think so. He's like, I'll be out first round. I'm like, you don't ever get stressed out. I'm like, when you're at World Finals and all, you know, all the fireworks and everything's going off and you hear your name being called in the semifinals, I'm one of them. 8 out of 10 drivers are going to be, you know, getting butterflies. You're going to be like, oh man, this is actually happening. You know, like you're going to get in your head. You're going to second guess everything. And Zack to me is like a robot. If he figures out what he needs to do, he's going to keep doing it over and over and over again. No problem. He's going to hit his marks. And so when he lined up against Tristan, I was like, we have lane choice. Like, I'm sorry. I love you, Tristan, but this one's coming home, you know? And I just remember continuously, like after he beat Adam and Jamie was up there, I walked up to Tim, Jamie, and everyone. I was like, we have this. Like, we got this in the bag. Like, unless something crazy happens, we really got this. And sure enough, he got it. And man, I didn't think that you could get the same adrenaline rush as a crew guy as well. But man, it was surreal, man. It felt the same way as if I won it. You know what I mean? Like driving it, it felt the same way to see him win that. And I think it was super cool to see him, you know, lift the trophy up, not only for the independents, you know, and the team, but I think to me, my favorite thing about it was the moment that him and Jamie had. That's literally like when, you know, anyone asked me what it felt like, there's nothing that in this world that can pay for that moment right there. Cause that moment it's special. And it's definitely going to live in their minds and in their hearts forever. That's something that they're always going to think about. And I didn't know that Jamie could cry, honestly.
I didn't know I could that much either.
Yeah, you know, and I'll be lying if I said this whole time that I've been off, I haven't been going back and rewatching that final race again just to like feel it, you know, make sure it was real. And me and Zack have always kind of, you know, been texting each other since then and being like, it's like, is this real? Do you actually believe it? You know, and it's awesome. And I think it was a great experience. And I can't thank them both enough for trusting me and believing in me and giving me the opportunity to be there. You know, I was always someone that when I worked on that truck, man, I was going to make sure that, you know, do my best to make sure that nothing went wrong and that nothing broke because of me. I'd rather it be on Zack. And I'm like, hey, you broke it. You know, I finally get to flip the Uno reverse card. You know what I mean? So it was great. It was a great experience. And I had a lot of fun, man. I don't think that there's anything in this world that could possibly be better than that. You know what I mean? First year for him, first year for myself as a crew chief. And, you know, after riding the high that we had with Shake Me and that, I mean, I think Team Overboard, you know, made its name and made it known to a lot of people. You know, he made it on Kylie Jenner's Instagram, you know, and
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
I'm pretty sure one thing that I heard about Zack's win is since Tom's racing win in the first World Finals, this was you know, somebody making their first showing and winning since since World Finals 1, I believe.
Yeah, man, and that's something that I thought about, and he's like, "What about Tom?" I was like, "Yeah, you're right." But you know, it was so crazy to see the excitement on everyone, and honestly, I think after that, everyone was just kind of riding the lightning. You know what I mean? The racing was so awesome. You know, in practice, I was like, I don't think this racing track is good, man. Like it's a little bit too big for the floor that we're running it in, and you know, they did the adjustments that they needed to, and like you guys had said, originally it was supposed to be the right lane was supposed to be the fastest. Well, in practice, after they fixed it, I was like, that left lane looks a lot faster than the other one, because what would happen is, besides, like Jamie was saying, when you're on the outside lane, you automatically think you're behind. Well, the thing is, that second berm, is set up in a tricky spot because of all the momentum that you're carrying in, and throwing your rear steer into such a quick turn and a tight turn. Most chassis are bound to roll over, you know what I mean? Unless you have a wide housing truck, you're still prone to roll over. But just with like the fellow chassis, they had a higher probability of rolling over. And sure enough, it happened even in racing. It was happening a bunch in practice and in qualifying. But I just think it's an awesome story for Zack. It's an awesome story for the team, and everyone in the shop here can't forget it. That's for sure.
Yeah, the like you said, we were talking about that too. It's easier to make somewhat of a mistake on the left lane than you would be able to do on the right, because you had that sweeping bar turn on the right lane, and then if you make that inside turn and screw up, you're done. You know what I mean? And that would take advantage of the person on the left lane, can take advantage of that opportunity and then go around him for the finish, or basically what Zack did, had enough time to be ahead of the guy when he was coming out of that entrance that he wouldn't be able to catch up with him, because one, Zack would already have the momentum. Two, Tristan is already kind of in a dead type spot where he needs Zack to somewhat screw up for him to take advantage of, which is too late. By that time, finish line's crossed. The purple and orange Chevy takes out the backhoe. So, that the way that goes is, like I've told a lot of people, I feel like the World Finals is the most legitimate NASCAR type racing I do see, outside of maybe Charlotte or tracks like that, or like Mount Pleasant. Jamie, you have done that track plenty of times, and the seriousness of that racing there in Mount Pleasant is a big time deal. Also, I throw in always the World Finals, and I always throw in Charlotte that nature too. You guys were also have a big race here coming up here soon too. But I want to backstep also, is what was the idea for the body change for Zack's truck? You guys did something different for the World Finals and stuff like that with it. Give it a little bit of twist. So you guys have any information about, what was, the idea for the new body?
Oh, you.
Yeah. So the guy that wrapped John Gordon's truck kind of reached out to Zack, and they were tinkering stuff back and forth. So they were trying to bring back the old wild side to the back end of the truck with the new wild side and kind of mix them together. Well, Zack sent me a few pictures here and there, but he never really sent me what it was going to look like. He just sent enough of, hey, what do you think? Well, then they told me it wasn't going to happen. So I went to my girl and said, hey, I need a wrap for Zack's truck, and we need to get it done quick. So she gets a wrap in, gets it ready to go. Next thing I know, the guy in Georgia's calling, going, hey, I got Zack's body wrapped. How are we getting it to LA? And I'm like, we'll get somebody to get it picked up. So we get it picked up, put it in the trailer. I had no idea what this thing was going to look like. They had it wrapped up, whole 9 yards. So that was kind of something that Zack just wanted to do. I guess a little old school of some of my stuff of what Wildside used to be with the new look of what he's got now. So they just kind of mixed them together, and that's what they come up with.
With a holographic look too.
Exactly. This whole year for Zack, the whole team motor wise, Tingler blew 3. I think Zack blew 2 or 3. Yeah. I blew the most. But, at the beginning of the year, man, Zack would call me, and dude, he was just so worked up of, things just ain't going right, and this and that and all that. Then he hits me up and he goes, hey, what do you think about letting Elvis go on the road with me? And I was like, well, I'm good with it. If you are, if you and him can make it work, do it. I don't care. Just tell me what we got to do and let's do it. The first weekend, I mean, I knew something was weird, because the first weekend these two were together, I didn't have a phone call. I didn't have nothing. I didn't know what they did. I didn't know if he won, didn't know if he lost. Me and Cole were having our own problems of me blowing motors and all this crap. So I didn't even call him. And, through the week, he calls me and does his normal stuff. But the next weekend, not a single phone call. So finally I call and I'm like, what is going on? He goes, nothing. We're over here having fun. And I'm like, you're having fun, huh? And he goes, man, I'm having a blast. He goes, man, me and Elvis we're doing this, we're doing that. And I just sit back and me and Cole talked about it. And Cole's like, Tingler's the dad, Tingler's going to keep him in line, but Elvis and Zack might be really good for each other. And the more I watched week in, week out, I mean, Zack just was so calm and collected with Elvis around him. I'm like, it is a good combination. He calms Zack down a little bit on Zack being on the road by himself trying to get 2 trucks done. I mean, he was getting worked up. And, Tingler's got a full-time job, and we all knew it going into it. Tingler would run the truck on the weekend like Cole does, and then he'd fly home to do his regular job, and then he would fly back in and work on the truck. Chad was doing his job 100% right, and Chad did everything perfect for us. But Zack just being on the road all by himself until Elvis come along, dude, it was a godsend for me. I'm like, this kid's got to stay around. It helped me out a bunch.
So coming off of World Finals, I know you guys have some more Monster Jam dates. You guys are doing some stuff with Hall Brothers at the end of the month. Are you guys going to be going to do some independent shows again? Like, what's on the horizon for you guys?
Well, so a lot of independent shows this year after my motor issues, we called a lot of guys that I've ran a lot with through the years. Matt Motorsports, Johnny at Miami, Oklahoma. They normally do Miami, Oklahoma and Springfield, Missouri. Well, Springfield got canceled. They don't do the 2-day show there for a while. They're going to let it rest and just do the fair show. I talked to Johnny, and he's like, man, I'd really like to have, you and Deidre here, or you and Zack, or 2 trucks, and I'm like, hey, man, I've had a bad year, really bad year. I'd like to just take a break. I need a break, sorry, but I need a break. So we pulled away from a lot of summer promoters this year. It wasn't nothing personal. It's, I got to get my shit together, which we think we got it together now. We found some issues with my truck, found some issues with Tingler's truck on some wiring problems. And truthfully, I think we got them down pat now. And last year, man, me and Zack did shows every single weekend. We were somewhere doing shows. Zack's got a girlfriend. I got a wife. I got a kid, So it was kind of, hey, let's just take an easier summer this year. I think we got 6 Monster Jam shows, 6 or 7 maybe. We do Evansville, Indiana, that SummerSlam. We got some pretty cool stuff there coming out, different bodies, throwing some different people in some seats there, tinkering around. So SummerSlam in Evansville is going to be a lot of fun. We did take the fair show in Springfield, Missouri for Matt Motorsports. But other than that, I think all the rest of them are just straight up Monster Jam. I mean, I needed a little bit of break. I needed kind of, after the motor issues and all that stuff, I needed to be able to take a nice deep breath and sit back and get our program right, get trailers ready for January. That way, when we do go to Monster Jam this coming first quarter, we're coming out swinging. We got motors with us. We have everything we need to run the way we want to run. And, Zack and Elvis and everybody together next year, Tingler and me and Cole, and get everybody together and go out swinging. And, Zack should be on a high. He'll have Elvis with him, and, world champion racing. Let's see if that boy can win a tour this year, and that's Cole's idea this year too. Me and Cole didn't really have the year we wanted this year. Hell, I blew motor every other weekend, so you ain't going to do very good points. But now we got Cole's truck pretty much dialed in. We got to get a shock program a little bit better, but I think we get his dialed in. I need some crew guys that can stay with me on the road and really work on this stuff like Zack and Elvis do. We're going to try to come out swinging next year and see if we can get every one of us up in the top 5 rather than back near the back. Zack's always been up near the top 5. So me and Cole are normally pretty decent, but this year we struggled.
I think it's awesome that you talk about crew guys and people that help out. I give a shout out to Eddie Micah. I mean, he builds chassis left and right. Just debuted the new Dirt Crew Dozer a couple weeks ago at Lernerville Speedway in PA. You know, he builds all these awesome chassis, but once in a while, I see him helping out with Zack, you know, Elvis, or you and your team. I mean, having him there also with his dog's a sweetheart. You know, the him being there where he could easily take time to go back to his shop and knock out, like, you know, these chassis left and right, you know, becoming a modern day Dan Patrick, you know, but he takes his time to help you guys out. That gotta be that gotta be a cool honor to have him by your side.
You know, the advantage with Eddie wants to see his trucks work. He wants to be at the show. He wants to see what we break. If I break something, Zach breaks something, Cole, I don't care which of my trucks break, even Jerry Beck or anybody. If it's an Eddie truck, if you break something on it and you show it to Eddie, it ain't never going to break there again. I can promise you that. And Eddie's big thing is, you know, just like with Elvis, you know, let's teach these guys. Let's show them the chassis side of it. Let's teach them everything we can. You know, we got something that was just delivered to my shop 2 weeks ago that's going to be a game changer. You know, it's going to be something really cool for us. Nobody's seen it yet. And it was completely out of Eddie's chassis, what we're used to building. I threw him a curveball and said, hey, I want you to build something for me. You know, I want something special. You're going to build one, and you're going to build one only. You're never going to build another one. And me and Eddie are good enough friends. He built one of one. And Elvis flew in today, just landed earlier this morning, and that's going to be Elvis's job here pretty soon. As soon as he gets mine and Zach's truck ready for Kansas, he's going to start working on this next project. And when it comes out, I think everybody's going to scratch their head and go, you guys got to be kidding me. Seriously? This is unbelievable. So it ought to be pretty cool. It's going to be fun to watch him work on it too. So it'll be pretty epic, I think.
It seems like Eddie kind of has a mind, like Dan said, like Dan Patrick, but you also look at a guy like Warren Johnson in the 90s in NHRA. That dude was always tinkering on something, always trying to find extra little bits of horsepower, chassis stuff. You know, he's got that mind, you know, and you know, his stuff's proven. You know, you look at how many teams are running his stuff. Eddie's like the guy now, if you want one of the best chassis in the industry.
You know, I screwed up years ago, probably 5 years back, 6 years back in Orlando, Florida. Got cocky. You know, I did my first backflip in Houston. Man, it was flawless. Perfect. Went to Orlando, and I thought, man, I got this. These things are easy. I don't know. Everybody's so worked up about backflips. So Orlando, I flipped. And, you know, Lindsey Wink was there, a couple other guys, and they knew it was my second flip. And they're like, man, when you see the dirt, lay on the brakes, man. Just lay on the brakes when you see the dirt. Well, nobody bothered to say when you're upside down, you see the dirt. You know, I laid on the brakes, and Eddie's chassis landed right on my window pillars. It hurt pretty bad, but honestly, it messed the chassis up pretty bad. But I would have hate to think to be in a different chassis of what would have truly happened to me in the truck compared to an Eddie truck. I mean, it took a beating, it folded, but everywhere it folded is where Eddie's kind of wanted to. Anything around me was solid. Nothing close to me folded. So you got to have some give somewhere. So that's always been my thing with Eddie. You know, he builds unbelievable chassis. You see the air we jump with these things week in, week out. You watch what Zack does in the arenas every weekend, Cheech. Guys see Cole's flipping every weekend. I flip periodically. Some of the air we jump and get. You know, the World Finals there this year, that truck, everybody told me I was nuts there. You know, we're sitting back there waiting to go in to do World Finals high jump. And, you know, I'm over looking at Ryan's truck, and Ryan's like, hey, what are you looking at? I said, I'm just looking at your shock settings, just seeing what you did, just trying to get an idea what you guys are doing. It's my first year ever high jump at World Finals. You know, I'm just curious what you guys are doing. They're like, freestyle settings, dude. We ain't going to steer you wrong, freestyle settings. So me, Eddie, and Mark Cole are all over there, and our shocks are wide open. We think we're going racing. We left them wide open for that. And that Eddie truck soaked that thing up. If you watch the videos, that truck landed unbelievable. Didn't hurt. And it just soaked it right up. And, you know, 90% of that is Josh with shocks. The other 90% is Eddie's chassis. That truck soaks everything up. It does. It's unbelievable.
Like I watched High Jump live, and out of all the trucks, yours did land the smoothest of any
Yes.
of the what you guys did. And like I was like, damn, that thing is like tuned up for this.
Dude, it killed me because, you know, I knew I had more horsepower than him. Getting off the line, we struggled. I watched Ryan struggle. And, you know, it was funny because as soon as I got done, you know, we brake checked, we got the rear end of the truck to hike up. And, you know, I felt really comfortable with it. I knew I got a good height. I drive out of the stadium, park my truck, and I get out, and a couple of high up Feld people ran down in the stadium and grabbed me, and they said, "Hey, you won, come upstairs." And I'm like, "What do you mean I won? I was third truck to go, and there's, what, 8 or 9 of us, whatever." I said, "There's no way I won already. Ain't nobody beating that height. There's no way." And then Tyler beat me, and then Bryce Kenny beat me, and then it come down to Colt Stevens just flat killed us on the footage. And it's like, man, these guys, but they had a better takeoff ramp than what we did. You know, the track was drying out. You could get traction. I kept watching poor Ryan take off, and every time Ryan took off, the truck went sideways. And I was like, God, I wish we would have pulled a higher number than a lower, but I wanted to be middle of the pack anyway. But the advantage is, you know, every driver I have in an Eddie truck, you know, they all are so comfortable in them that it's just the confidence level on every single driver driving them trucks, Tingler, Zack, you know, Cole, myself, even Deidre, and when she does the summer shows and stuff, everybody just believes in Eddie so much that none of my guys get nervous. They will jump anything in the world. They don't care. You know, it's pretty cool.
Man. Hey, Brad, we're pushing it a little bit. We got to have you guys back on, Elvis. We'll probably have to have another episode with you.
You just need to have one just with Elvis, because I pretty much took his whole time.
Hey, is there plans to get Elvis in one of the trucks eventually?
We're going to do something. I mean, we got some ideas. We don't want to completely open the bag up yet, but we have some pretty neat ideas. I got some summer shows that Tingler's wanting to do. I got some summer shows that me and Zack are supposed to be at. Zack dropped the bombshell on me tonight that he can't do one of the shows that me and him have to be together at as father-son. So old Elvis might be my son for a weekend, and we'll see how that flies with everybody.
Elvis
exactly,
Garner.
Exactly. It'd be like, hey, this is my adopted son right here. So I got a promoter that, you know, pushes always for me and Zack to go. You know, it's the father-son, and man, he uses it a lot. And he's a family guy. I don't know if Zack can do that show because something's come up for him that weekend, something that he's had planned for 6 months, and I screwed up and said, yeah, me and Zack can do that. I do that a lot. So I got a feeling old me and Elvis are going to be going and doing it instead. And I'll be like, that's the son I forgot to tell anybody I had, you know, this will work out good. So
I was about to say also, you guys did a pretty cool display last weekend at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. I guess
yes.
There was a huge concert going on there and stuff like that.
Well, actually, it wasn't Indianapolis. So we drove, me, Deidre, and Maddie last weekend drove to St. Louis. And I did a display with John Gordon's rap guy just on the south side of St. Louis. And it's an energy drink company.
Oh, First Form.
First Form. Yep. So we did a custom wrap for them. And we did a display there for their customers only. It wasn't an invite. You had to be invited to come. So they brought us in, and we put the monster truck on display for First Form. And they brought in, who the hell was that rap guy? Ludacris was in concert there just for his customers. This First Form company, dude, is off the charts. The people there they use the supplements, and, you know, they drink the energy drinks. These guys all look like Elvis walking around, you know, they're all pumped up and muscle bound. And me and Deidre's walking around eating cupcakes, and they're laughing at us, and they're like, dude, if you put that cupcake down. And I'm like, no, you only wish you could eat this cupcake, you know, all these muscle bound guys. Yeah. It was awesome though, you know, getting to watch Ludacris play and meet a bunch of these people. And dude, they were so into the monster truck being wrapped with First Form that it was just insane. So we're trying to do some more knickknack stuff with that company. I mean, never even knew who that company was till I got there. And dude, that company is like unbelievably large. I mean, you start shopping them and looking up and what all this place has. This place is insane. I mean, I'd say within the next 5 years, everybody's going to know who these people are because it's their business practice for the next 5 years is unbelievable what all they have planned. It would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw that on I think it was on the Instagram from First Form because I know a lot of wrestlers like the WWE and stuff like that use their nutrition, like protein and pre-mixed drinks for workouts and stuff like that. And a lot of couple of their podcasts are sponsored by First Form.
Yes.
For their showing the love and stuff like that. And some, I don't know who, but it was on the search portion and had the truck there. It says one person went to say, how cool is it that we got the world champion monster truck here at the First Form grouping and stuff like that. And then the I guess because maybe it's the reason why I saw it there is because of Ludacris, because Ludacris just did an episode of Hot Ones on YouTube answering the questions and eating hot chicken wings and then seeing all that stuff and then the truck itself too. So
it was cool because me and Deidre left for a little bit to go feed my daughter, and the guy from First Form, super nice guy. There was 5,000 to 7,000 people in there packed, and it was tight. They're doing the concert and all that. He comes up and he goes, "Hey, I'm curious about something. What would it take to let Ludacris drive that monster truck?" And I was like, "Tell him to come talk to me." He goes, "Oh, you're kidding me." I was like, "I'll put his ass in it. I don't care. If he wants to drive it, he can rip up and down that side street over there. If he wants to run it, let's run it." And they're like, "Let's not tell him because we can't get it out of here. There's too many people." And I'm like, "You're right. He'll have to stay till Sunday." So needless to say, he wasn't there Sunday morning, so he didn't want to drive it too bad.
I'm
Would
pretty
have been
sure
pretty cool to see him rip it around, though.
I'm pretty sure they had the Schnells with one of the Bigfoot trucks do that event in previous, because I know they were doing like a partnership with the Schnells and stuff back.
Yeah, they've done it with Bigfoot, I think 2 or 3 years in a row. Bigfoot had something last weekend where they couldn't do it. So John Gordon's guy kind of jumped in and went with it. So it was pretty cool.
Nice. So I know I'll see you guys the end of the month in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yep, we'll be there.
We have the Monster Jam event there at Rep Arena. I just know it's connected to a mall, so I'm okay with that.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's the food court.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're next to the arena.
Yeah.
Well, right next to the arena, if you exit it out, you go straight to the food court. Like one of the exit doors takes you right to the food court, and then you just head on back afterwards. And
we'll just be there because probably catering ain't gonna be.
Yeah, we'll just follow you around, Cheech. You seem to know the area pretty well, so we'll just follow you around.
Yeah, I was there in 12 and 13 just as a track crew guy. So
we need to get Bradshaw to go there and hang out with us. It's just Lexington, Kentucky. I mean, come on. We'd have a blast there.
Well, there is an Edmonton, Kentucky, but it's not as cool as Edmonton, Alberta. So,
well, Lexington is going to be pretty cool. We got a oddball body we're running there for a buddy of mine, so that'll be kind of cool for me. Something different. So that'll be kind of neat. We're starting to branch out on summer stuff with different bodies and different wraps, so that'll be kind of neat.
That'd be cool to see.
It's kind of cool. I mean, it's not radical or nothing. It's when you see it, you'll understand it. It's pretty cool though. And then we're gonna have me, Zack, and Elvis there playing, and obviously Elvis's boss will be with him, so that'll be fun. We'll have a great time there.
You said it's connected to a mall, Cheech?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get her.
I'm gonna throw my wallet away.
I'm gonna get Kristen to spend all his money there. We're gonna be jewelry shopping and earring shopping. We're gonna have a blast there. I'll make sure I pay him before we go.
Jeez.
By the way, Elvis, is that a Kublai concert?
It is.
That is dope, man. That's dope. I had to say that because like such a good band, man.
Yeah, man. Me and some of those guys on there are actually pretty good buddies. They're the lead singer of the band is about 2.5 hours north of me. He's from around the Dallas area, so he's not too far away from me.
Matt Honeycutt is just one tough SOB, man.
He's an awesome guy, man. I think the coolest thing about him is that he's how he is on the stage, but when you meet him behind the scenes, he's probably one of the most mellow guys I've ever met in my life.
And that's like
Super
with all the
mellow
metal
guy.
that's with like all the metal dudes. Like on stage, they're all like, kill each other. Ah! Off the stage, they're like, hey, give me a hug, man. What's going on?
Yeah, they're like, I'm vegan.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, but it's awesome, man. It's my first. I don't think there can be a lot of crew guys that can say they won a world championship in their first year, but
That's fact.
it was pretty awesome, man. I'm very thankful and I'm very happy to be in this team, man. It's been awesome to be on the road with Zack. He's taught me a lot, and he's just been a great time to be on the road with, man. I couldn't think of anyone else better to be on the road with my first year, and I'm very grateful for him.
Man, that's cool. Any social media people can follow you guys at?
Where are they following you?
I don't know. Overboard Motorsports.
We got Facebook page, Overboard Motorsports. Deidre does all that. Me and Zach don't really mess with it. Zach's got his own Instagram and his own Facebook page. I don't know what all Elvis has got. Elvis is pretty popular, though. I mean, we don't want to make him too popular.
No.
He'll get a big head.
And then I'm also going to be making sure that we get a website here going public pretty soon. So,
Dude, we have struggled. We've tried to do a website now for about 6 years. I've hired like 4 different people to do websites, 4 or 5, and every single one of them screwed me over. Took my money and never did shit. I mean, terrible. It is unbelievable on that kind of business. So we're going to get him to rock it out for us now.
Cool deal. Cool deal. Well, hopefully I can talk to Zack and have him on next week, and then put his 2 sides of the story there. I may have to talk to his boss.
I think I'd call her first. That'd probably be your smart thing. Get the okay from her and then work to him. That would be the smart choice. I got a feeling.
Yes. Yeah. She's one Facebook message away for saying, "Hey, what's
maybe if you put her on the podcast, you would be guaranteed to get him on the podcast. That might be your trick right there. Yeah, that might work.
That might work.
I get it. I mean, dude, I had him on the road for 5-6 months straight. I mean, the boy didn't come home. He stayed gone. And I mean, I get it because I fly in and out every weekend. Dude, when I fly home Sunday or Monday morning, I can't wait to see my family. And, Zach's been with this girl a long time and he stays out on the road. I did Denver, Colorado, and they were in Colorado Springs. So Sunday morning, I jumped up, drove over with them. And there's Maddie sitting in the locker room next to Zach. And I was like, that's kind of cool to see that she'll fly in and visit with him. Before he did have Elvis on the road, the kid was by himself, and he's 22, 23 years old. It is a struggle being out on the road all by yourself. So now, you got Elvis out there hanging out with him, and then she flies in and out, which it's cool. It is nice to see that where we can all have our families on the road with us. I mean, it makes it a whole hell of a lot easier. And then Elvis has pretty much become his family. So it helps out a lot.
Cool deal. So I'm gonna have hopefully Zack and maybe Maddie. Maybe
there
Maddie,
you go.
Zack Hill. But man, thank you for being on. Thank you for both of you. And telling your guys' side and catching up with us and stuff like that, man. Thank you again.
Yep, anytime.
And Cheech, any social media that people can follow the Flying Panda at?
They can follow me anywhere. I'll be all right. Man, I'll go ahead and say I'm on Facebook, Instagram. Also, I do have a TikTok, but I just mostly watch that stuff. Also, Crush This. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. We just experimented live with Instagram too. Hall Brothers Racing's on Facebook and on just Facebook, I believe. And also want to thank people that 6B Apparel, Justin Stories, get his book Making Tracks. That's on Amazon and Facebook. I just messaged him, $10 a pop. MW on Entertainment, Mark Warner, He does announcing throughout the East Coast of monster trucks. He's gonna get the ball rolling back. He had some vocal surgery, so he'll come back and try to get that going on and stuff like that. Hall Brothers Racing once again. Tim and Mark help out. They purchased the decals that some of the independent people put on their trucks to help support the podcast. Let's see here. High Octane Coffee. Thank you for them. Sometimes they hook us up with some coffee and stuff like that. The ownership just changed hands, but we'll see them down the road. JB Scale Graphics. They do a lot of the RC monster truck world, but they're also now branching out to the 4400 class buggies that you see on like King and the Hammers, the Baja Racing, stuff like that. They've been doing some of the full scale vehicles on wraps too, so go take a look at that too. But outside of that, thank you for all the people that have helped us out with our sponsorship. And now I'm going to lead the social media questions to Brad. So where people can follow you at outside of Edmonton Oilers at Instagram and Facebook.
You can follow me at the only Monster Truck Canucker. My next show is probably going to be Edmonton Monster Jam, and then planning to hopefully go to Calgary event as well. And yeah, let's go Oilers! Oilers in 6. We have a chance.
And also, for me, my next show that I'm actually going to be driving is June 22nd, 23rd at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway for Never Lift. Go take a look at that. And
Man, you need to go to that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez.
Where's that at?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Man, that's not a far drive from us. We might just drive over and cheer you on.
Oh, well, all I have to do is just pull alongside of the road between Indy and Green and your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I'm heading that way anyway. You can just hop along.
I mean, who you doing that show for?
Ryan Hogenkamp. He does West Leb.
Are you there by yourself, or will you have chaperones?
No, I think I'm going to be by myself.
Oh, man, we got to go because we can wind you up. We'll get you in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, we're going to make you do a triple backflip.
Man, we want to hear that Hemi singing.
Well, you found your crew guys there, Cheech.
Yes.
I got a good crew guys. So we're gonna have Frank Krimmel there with we're gonna have Hook and Stone Crusher.
Man.
Oh yeah, man.
The Robbins brothers, Trenton and Montana with
Dude, those are two awesome kids right there. Awesome kids.
And then Loy, I forget his last name. He was Bob Robbins' crew chief for quite some time, but he got one of the older chassis from Bob, and he's debuting a new truck called Behind Bars. So, and then we'll have 6 mega trucks. They're going to race each other in tough trucks. So, Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. And
dude, if we ain't doing anything, I think I got a show that weekend, I think. But if not,
that's the week after Kansas City, I think.
If so, we're probably off. We might jump in a car and all of us truck over there just to cheer you on. It'd be fun to watch you drive.
I'll try.
I'd have fun with that.
It'd be a learning experience. I'll tell you that much.
Dude, no pressure. Just go out and have fun.
Jamie, if you go there, make sure you try to have a headset. You can talk to Cheech through the whole thing.
He's way calmer on the headset. He tried to head me. He walked by me once at the World Finals right when it started. And he goes, "You going to talk to Zack?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. No way. Not happening. No way."
But
no.
But hey,
I'm not real good on headsets. Cheech would be taking that thing off and beating me with it after we got done at the end of the show. So I think I'd veer away from that one for him. I tried that with Deidre years ago. She's headed towards the bus jump, and I'm like, little faster, a little faster, a little faster. And then the next thing I know, she toenails it. And I'm like, by the time I keyed back up to say, whoa, she sent it. And I'm like, oh, I'm dead.
Well, you're still here. So she gave your grades up. So
it landed good. And she's like, wow, I didn't know it could land that good. And I'm like, well, yeah, it does. Trust me. So it was pretty cool.
You know, it's I enjoy it. Like I get behind the wheel, and probably Elvis can attest to it too. I just, I get a reality check. I think back where I was 5 years prior to there, and then I get like not like giddy, but like a reality check for myself. I guess that I'm in this, but I can really, really quickly, lose it if I don't. Respect it. So I get to that point about it where I just get a little giddy about it. But it feels good, I guess you may just say, you know what I mean? But
It should always feel that way, though. Always. When it don't feel that way no more, quit driving. I mean, dude, I've done this 11 years, and I still get butterflies when we drive through the tunnel at these stadiums, even arenas. I still get butterflies coming in these buildings. It's the little kid in you coming out of, you're so excited, and you just can't wait to get in there and go. You know, I think every driver, I mean, I know Zach does it. I know Cole. I think we all do it. And, you know, the reality, I think if you don't get a little giddy, quit doing it. You know, you don't need to be doing it no more.
Dan Rente said the same exact thing. He said,
dude,
that
I used to do a lot of shows with that man. That is a good guy, because my first year at Toughest Monster Truck Tour, he took me under his wing, and he's like, you know, just calm down, breathe, make a few hits here and there, and then just build yourself up. Don't try to do it the first weekend out. So, and Dan was always like that. He's like, that nervous feeling will never go away, but when it does go away, get out of the truck.
Yeah,
and
he also said that if you think you're in control of the truck, get out.
Big time. That truck will teach you really fast. You ain't in control of nothing. It does that very quick. It will humble you very fast.
Yeah. That's been stuck in my head. And then Gene Patterson once told me, he said, this is his words. He said, you respect Bigfoot. You respect that truck. If you don't respect that truck, Bigfoot will let you know. Bigfoot will let you know pretty good that he doesn't like it. And then you try to fix it that way. That Gene always said that. He made that truck seem like a third person, but I strongly believe that the truck will tell you when it's happy. If it's not, it'll let you know.
You know, because some nights you can send that thing to the moon. Next night you jump at 2 foot and the shocks just hurt so damn bad that, you know, it's like, what in the world is wrong with this thing? You know, I think every driver goes through that, though. It's the truck telling you, hey, it's just not your night tonight. Calm down, you know, part of it.
Hey, and I'll say this as someone that has only driven a ride truck. You know, you guys doing what you do, you know, thank you, because, you know, you guys are, you know, doing stuff that I couldn't even imagine doing myself. So, you know, you guys are amazing at what you guys do.
It's a lot of fun, that's for sure.
And one of these days I'll squeeze my fat ass in a race truck. Just
you ain't no bigger than me, so you'd fit right in my seat. You'd be all right.
Yeah, I'm going to be going on a new medication soon, so that'll hopefully make me lose some weight. So
I'm already on some medication. If it's what I'm on, good luck. It works perfect.
Is it the Ozempic?
It's ours is a different brand, but yeah, I think I've dropped 14 pounds. I think Deidre's dropped maybe 12 pounds within 30 days.
Oh wow! So it works. I can't wait to be on that. So
if you put some effort in it, it really works. I've been lazy and just took the shot and eat a little bit better than normal. But if you would really work out a little bit, put some effort in it, you will lose quickly, very quickly. You feel the energy is just unbelievable that it gives you.
That's what I can't wait.
I'm going to try to look like this pretty soon. That's my goal right there. Yep.
So if you just honestly just kind of just stick to water for like even a month, that's your biggest thing, because
I drink a gallon a day. It ain't done me nothing. I'm still fat.
Yeah, because basically the sugar and like the sodas and the sugar and the sodas and everything, basically what it does is it just blocks your sweating cells.
Yes.
So you can't sweat a lot. So it's like, that's why whenever you take certain supplements out there, they actually do like water retention. So essentially for people that want to gain weight, there's supplements out there that have water retention to keep you from losing weight. And then there's also, you know, when it comes to like just losing weight, honestly, a little bit of gym, it doesn't even have to be nothing like crazy, like an intense workout, like even a mile walk and just waters, and doing that on a routinely basis, eventually your body, you know, just starts to lose weight, you know, because at the end of the day, as long as you're like on a calorie deficit, that's really your biggest help right there. Like if you do that, it only accelerates the process.
Yeah, and with my job, I do have a very physical job. You know, I work as a swamper on a 40-ton and 18-ton picker truck.
Oh wow,
moving around and a lot. So, you know, once I get back to work, it's been slow right now, but once I get back to work, I'll hopefully be dropping the pounds again. So
it'll help you. It will.
Yeah, but the goal still, even though the goal still is to squeeze my fat ass into a race truck and at least move it around and stuff. But even thanks to Don Frankers for letting me drive his ride truck a couple years ago.
You got to do it once. You got to have the experience once.
I got to hit a 1-2 hole shot at least once in my
Yep.
life.
Watch the Ryan Lacrosse auction. He auctions off a ride truck or a ride driving experience once a year. Last year it didn't bring out much money. Wayne, one of the guys that does all the Monster Jam podcasts, the videos, Wayne, the Kermit kid that has Kermit Frogs, Avenger Racing. He won it this year. He'll be driving my truck within the next 30 to 60 days. We do basically full setup where he races, two-wheel skill, and freestyles. And I mean, we got him set up and looking really forward to doing it with Wayne because he's a pretty cool kid. So it'll be fun. But kind of follow Ryan Lacrosse when he does that auction because you might be able to slide in one cheaper than what you think you can.
Oh, I definitely will.
There we go,
There's
Brad.
always an opportunity somewhere. You just got to want it more than the other person.
You just got to pay attention to it,
We
It's
just
always
don't
out
get
there.
we just don't get a lot of stuff up where Northern Canada where I am, so which is the downfall of being a fan up here. But when we get shows, it's definitely I always make sure to get out to them. So
Oh yeah, I think Elliot's done some up there in Edmonton, hasn't he?
Edmonton, and then the only small arena show he's ever done is where I live in Grand
Oh,
Prairie,
really?
Alberta. So
He always, dude, if it's one of Elliot's shows, it's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. They always are.
Yeah.
I mean, always have been, always will be. I mean, he always goes above and beyond. The thing with Elliot is, Elliot's just a little kid at heart, so he wants to see the monster trucks jump higher and farther than the fans do. So Elliot's the full-blown fan that's just a promoter's the problem. So it's pretty cool watching some of the stuff the kid does. So it'll be cool anytime he does it.
Only if it's Rap Attack.
Yeah, oh God, trust me. I had to listen to that stuff for 10 years straight. That's the best truck in the world, according to Elliot. So the only difference was I was the first truck I think that Elliot ever got to drive was mine. I let him do Ionia Fair one year. I sit out of the truck because we had Zack doing his first show there ever. And I wanted to be with Zack, and Elliot's like, I'll drive your truck. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, that won't be too bad. I'm like, just don't tear it up, just go out, make some decent hits. And next thing I know, I'm talking to Zack in the truck, and I look out, and Elliot's flying through the air and then slap wheeling across the parking lot the next direction. And I'm like, I thought I told him to take it easy, He's up there just rocking it out, having a blast. And he's like, can I drive it tomorrow night? And I'm like, no, I've never done a slap wheelie in my life in that truck. You ain't driving it at all no more. You're done. Get your ass out of my truck and stay out. So it's pretty comical because it gave Zack his first opportunity to ever do a show. I could be out of the truck with him, and it gave Elliot his first opportunity to drive a truck in a show. So it was truly pretty epic for I think me and Elliot both because he got to do a show in a truck, and then I got to be with my own kid to do a show. So it was cool. So always look for the opportunities. They're always out there, dude. You just got to look for them.
Definitely.
Well, Brad, go ahead and close her off.
All right, guys, if you are struggling with anything mental health related, please reach out to anybody. This is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. If you are struggling, if you are going through anything, please reach out to somebody. Your life is worth more than losing it. We have lost way too many people in this industry alone and so many other motorsports, guys. So if you're struggling, please reach out. And guys, as we always say since day one on this podcast, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up, everybody. Peace.